What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Sabby. Welcome to another episode of Self Mastery. Thank you so much for your patience, guys. It's very appreciated. I have actually been on vacation for the past week or so, and I just got back, and obviously I had to make a video for all my members, all my subscribers. But nonetheless, thank you so much for your patience and for waiting for another video. But I am back today, and let's get started. So today's topic, I will be discussing something crucial. This is part of self-development, part of self-mastery, but it ties in with the financial realm of self-improvement. So I'll be discussing 4 tips or 4 life hacks that you can use right now to change your financial life completely. This has worked for me for the past 2-3 years, and I know for a fact that if you guys start implementing these habits, these behavioral changes, this is going to affect your financial life as well. And that's crucial because at the end of the day, we all just want to be free financially, but also free in the sense that we're able to go and do and explore and, live life the way we want to live in a free way, in a liberated way. And so, obviously money is the tool that helps us do that in today's society. And so as you use these kind of financial tips to help improve your life overall, you're going to see that freedom is the byproduct of all of this. So let's get started right into it. So I'm going to talk about tip number 1, life hack or financial hack number 1. This is something that you guys are well aware of, but I think it's just not practiced enough. And I think that if you can do this, for sure, you can live a more financially free life. Basically, number 1 is to live below your means. I know it's a big thing I just said because most people don't live below their means. They live above their means. And there's a good psychological reason for why they do so. Well, we live in a consumeristic culture. We live in a culture where we have to keep up with the Joneses. We have to drive the latest vehicle. We have to have the latest iPhone or the latest gadgets. And it's part of, being in this race to see, who can accumulate the most material, whether it's clothing, whether it's technology or, tech kind of things, or whether it's, buying the fanciest vehicles or cars or even the biggest house on the block, And we do all of this for an outer appearance, for an outer show. That's really the reason that we do it, is because we want to be perceived as wealthy from other people. And, that in turn gives us, quote unquote, a higher status in society. And so, if we're dressing rich, if we're driving rich, if we're living rich, people are going to love us. People are going to appreciate us. People are going to want to be our friends. They're going to want to be around us, And true, that is true. It does happen. And you can see the evidence all around you. But as a side note, are those people really genuine people? Are they people that are there for you, your soul, your character? Or are they there because of the things you own, because of the lifestyle that you live, the lavish, luxurious lifestyle that you pretend to live? And that's something that you should question for yourself. But going back to my main tip number 1, live below your means. If you guys have read the book, The Millionaire Next Door, which is pretty much a book, I'll give you a quick summary of it. It just lets you know that, hey, there's millionaires living right next door to you, and you don't even know it, only because they live in a simple house, they drive a simple Toyota or a simple Honda, and you will never ever even know that they are millionaires because they have saved and invested their money rather than spending it on frivolous, unnecessary things like Gucci or Louis, or, having, the fanciest car in the neighborhood. They don't care about that, because they know that these things, these material things, lose value. And they do, because the law of entropy is always working, that physical matter, physical material things are always subject to decay, even our own bodies. So it's like, yeah, I'm not saying don't buy material things. Buy what you need. Buy what is necessary for you to live your life in a comfortable way. But do you really need that Louis bag when you're only making like $600-700 a week, right? Or even less? Do you even really need that? You don't. You're only buying it so you're accepted in whatever, group or clique or community you want to be a part of, or whatever, you want to stand out from your friends, or whatever the reason may be. You don't really need these things. And so obviously, if you're spending a lot of money on buying things that are unnecessary, that's less money that you are saving and or investing, right? It's just simple math. So find a way, and maybe spirituality needs to come into this for you to realize that, hey, maybe I don't need all these material things to be fulfilled. Maybe I don't need the latest, iPhone to feel complete, and that's something you have to figure out within yourself. You have to dive deep within yourself. And yes, spirituality is a part of this, because maybe you're filling a void within yourself with all these material things that you don't really need. And so, yeah, going back to the financial side of things, live below your means. Just buy what you need, right? And that's it. Later on in life, sure, when you have saved and invested and you have multiple sources of income, yeah, then, go out and treat yourself, give yourself the things that you truly want, when you've gotten to that level. But if you're still working a 9 to 5, working minimum wage or just a little bit above minimum wage, or, whatever, and you're buying things that you don't need just to impress people that don't even like you or you don't even like, it's just, what is the point? What is the point? You could be saving that money for your future, for your retirement, for so many other things, for your life passion, for a business, for just, the list is endless, but at the end of the day, this is just tip number 1. But I promise you guys, if you follow these tips to the T, right, your life will change financially for sure, but also peace of mind will come. And you'll also feel more free to do other things like traveling and going out and doing food tours, or experiencing life in a more richer way, rather than just hoarding material things that don't really have any value in the long run. But let's go into tip number 2. Tip number 2 that I want to share with you guys is that save at least 40 to 50% of your income, if possible. If not, then at least save 10 to 30% of your income. I would say start with a 10 to 30% of your income. Before I even continue, you should be saving at least 10% of your income every month, regardless of how much you're making, what job you have, wherever you're working. You should at least be saving 10%. If you're not saving anything or even below 10%, you need to step it up, because if you don't, it's just not going to work out for you, but you need to find a way to save 10%. Saving 10% is like paying yourself, right? Money. You pay everybody money. You pay your creditors, you pay the bills, you pay, the grocery shops, but you also got to pay yourself, and that paying yourself is saving that 10% of your money. But ideally, you should be saving at least 40% of your income. Most millionaires, and then again, this fact comes from the same book I discussed, The Millionaire Next Door. Most millionaires save 40% of their income, and then they use that to invest. But I'll get into that later on. But going back to what I'm saying, find a way to save that. Now, you can save in a savings account, typical, or you can save in other sorts of portfolios, right? You can save your money in like a Roth IRA account, and yeah, you'll be saving for retirement to a degree, but you can always get your initial deposit or whatever you've deposited yourself out whenever you need it for an emergency. Although I would say don't touch it. But regardless of all of that, save your money. Just save at least 10 to 40% of your money, because it will come handy, especially when you need an emergency fund, right? Most people don't even have like 5,000 saved up. I think the statistic was like 60% of Americans don't even have $5,000 in their savings, which is really sad to hear, because $5,000 is not a lot of money, and if you don't even have that sitting around in your savings, then that's something you need to work towards, or at least be striving towards. At least have 1,000 in your emergency fund. God forbid your car breaks down or something happens. Maybe it's a medical emergency, whatever it is. But at least have 1,000 in your emergency fund. Then the rest build up on that. But have money saved. It's crucial to have money saved, because it just shows that you're good with money. And when you're good with money, more money comes to you. When you're bad with money, money flies out of your hands, and you can see that. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you're living hand to mouth, you'll see that it's hard to live like that, because you're more of a spender than a saver. And this goes back to my tip number 1. If you live below your means and only buy the necessity of things, then yeah, you should be able to save the rest of your money, rather than spending it on, fancy dinners or hookah or the club or whatever you guys are into. You're saving that money instead. So that's tip number 2 for a financially free and abundant and just peaceful kind of life. Save your money. Save at least minimum. I would say if you're starting out, 10%. But if you've been saving for a while, increase that number to at least 40 to 50%. But in the long run, it will help you when it comes to investing. But also, it's good to have money on your back, just in case anything ever happens. You're secure in that sense. But tip number 3, this leads me into basically establishing multiple sources of income. And this can also include investing. So when you're investing, I'll start off with that before I get into the other things. When you're investing, you can invest in real estate, right? You can invest in a property. Property always gains value over years, and so that's a way you just made money. You can invest in a rental property. If you have that kind of money saved up, it's a great cash flow. You can get started. You can invest in index funds. You can invest in Roth IRA for your retirement or whatever. You can invest in a high interest yield account, and there's many of those as well, but at the end of the day, find something to invest in. Invest in a business. Start your own business. Use your savings to invest in that. Maybe that is your ticket out of your 9 to 5, if that's something you desire. But regardless of that, even if you want to start a side hustle, invest in that. But the main tip number 3, is finding more ways to increase your income or expand your income or create different sources of income. So like I just said, you can either start a side business, right? Maybe you're working a 9 to 5 and, you're sort of limited on time. If you start maybe an e-commerce store, start affiliate marketing, start some sort of business on the side. Maybe you can do some coaching. Maybe you can do YouTube. Maybe you can do Patreon. Whatever you want to do, start something on the side. Create a course, create an ebook, whatever it is, whatever, is something you're passionate about or something that you've been inspired to do, but you haven't done yet, do it, right? Maybe that is your goal, to make that extra money, and then use that extra money for savings, and then or reinvest into that same side hustle, and then make it a full-time business. There's so much you can do, especially in today's modern society with the internet. I think the internet has revolutionized business, marketplace, just everything. Like, you don't even need to go to a brick and mortar. You don't even need to work a 9 to 5, because the internet is your way out to making that financially free, abundant life where you're traveling and working, all from your laptop. Yeah, it's seems like a dreamy picture, but millions of people are living that dream. People are out here living that kind of financially free, but also a time-free kind of life. And it's very possible with the internet. I'm not saying hard work isn't involved, because it definitely is, but regardless of all of that, it's very possible, and you can do it if you just get started. But also, maybe you can be a realtor. Maybe you can do a real estate course. You can invest in properties. You can flip properties. You can just be a realtor and help people buy properties. You can wholesale properties. Or you can just, there's so many things you can do, but find ways that you can create more income for yourself, because at the end of the day, the cliche quote that the average millionaire has 7 sources of income makes sense when it comes to this, because they have many sources where they're getting their money from. So they're not just trading their time for their money, but rather, and I mean, don't get me wrong, they are using their time wisely for money, but they're also making money when they're sleeping. They're also making money when they're just hanging out, and that's something that we all should strive for, is to have money coming in when we're just lounging around or just chilling by the pool, And it's very possible if you can set your life up like that. Yeah, the first few years will be a lot of hard work and grind and hustle and, a lot of sleepless nights and stuff like that. But hey, you got to put in the work in order to get that lifestyle, right? Long-term gain rather than the short-term satisfaction. And that's something that I'll talk about in another video about discipline. But for now, that's tip number 3. Find ways to create more income for yourself. And then tip number 4. This tip, I have a whole entire video on this, which I'll link below in my description. You guys can check that out. But this tip, I think, is crucial and important to financial freedom, financial independence, but also increasing your income. And this is more tied to a spiritual basis, but it works. And I am a living proof of that, but also millions of other people and entrepreneurs around the world that can give credit to this, is giving or tithing. So giving or tithing basically means giving a portion of your income to people in need, people that are deserving. Maybe it could be people in a cancer facility that just need their bills paid. Maybe it's somebody, that's going through a tough time and, your money can help them. It could be anything. It could be a research institute. It could be a charity. I know a lot of charities nowadays have been called out for, embezzling money and stuff like that. But if you do your research, there are still some good nonprofit charities out there that are, really working for humanity rather than, their own pockets. But if with a little bit of research and stuff like that, if you can just start the habit of giving money, just a 10% of your income, to whatever organization, institute, charity, whatever, family, friend, person, anybody, as long as you're giving regularly, you will see an increase in your income over time. And I can say that based on my own experience. My income has increased dramatically and drastically ever since I started applying this principle of giving and tithing into my life. So I can only just share my own experience with you, and I go deeper into my life experience in that video I just mentioned. I'll link it in the description below. But many people do a lot of tithing, and they pretty much say that tithing is what made them rich. And there's a spiritual law that's working behind all of this. It's called the law of giving and receiving. The more you give out, the more you get back, and you get back multiplied. And so, this is something that will require faith from you, but also a step or a leap of faith as well, because that's what it really requires. It's hard for us to give. We're not used to giving. We've been taught at least that keep everything, and we give rarely, maybe on like Christmas or like holidays or things like that. But if you can really just take that leap of faith and start giving, regularly, at least once a month, give something to some person, some institution, some sort of charity, whatever, if you can even do that regularly, you'll start seeing the effects. You'll start attracting money from various places. But also just the basic principle of tithing teaches you to be good with your money, right? You learn to manage your money well. You learn to save, invest. You also learn what to give. You also learn what to live off of. All these principles combined, if you can use all these 4 tips combined, you're gonna start seeing within a year or two, your financial life is gonna be completely like 180, right? You're gonna be completely in a different space financially. Like you'll have a bunch of money saved up. You'll be content. You'll be able to go out and buy whatever you want whenever you want. Not saying that you need to, but you'll have that ability to. But also you'll have money multiplying. You have more money than you've ever had before, especially if you do investing. But also even if you do tithing, right? You'll have more money than ever. And I mean, that's all I can say to you guys, because at the end of the day, like, this is all experiential. This is something that you're going to have to put into practice. You're going to have to be disciplined about. And if you can take these 4 tips and just implement them into your life and just try them out and make like a routine of doing this, like, consistently, you're going to start seeing your life just blossom. Money coming in. You're never going to be worried about money ever again. I'll promise you that. I'll promise you that for sure. I'll guarantee that 100% that if you can do these 4 things, you'll never worry about money again. At least, after that first or second year period. After that, you'll never worry about money again. The first or second year, yeah, you're going to be putting in a lot of hard work and effort. But once you get the ball rolling, like, you're good. You're super good. So these are my 4 tips I wanted to share for today. These financial tips, I'll go through them one more time as a quick recap. But number 1, live below your means. You don't need that Gucci. You don't need that Louis if you can't afford it yet. You don't need that Lamborghini. At least not yet. Definitely in the future, you can buy whatever you want when you're financially set. But for now, live below your means. Number 2. What was number 2? Oh, man, I forgot. Oh, I remember. Save. Save at least, if you're just starting out saving, save at least 10%. But if you've been saving, if you are a saver, increase that amount to at least 40 to 50%. Because most millionaires are saving most of their income. Obviously, tip number 3, investing and or creating new sources of income. So that's something you all should be striving for. If you're working a 9 to 5, find ways to make more money. If you're already an entrepreneur or businessman, start another business or find ways to earn more income through your business or whatever else. Find ways to make more money and just work. It's something that takes time. You're not going to, have a booming business the next day. It doesn't work like that. But if this is something that you guys are starting out with, start. Because what's that one quote, the best time to start was 10 years ago. And then the other best time is to start now. So start now. Obviously, if you didn't start 10 years ago, start now. Because you will start seeing the results slowly over a period of time. You will start making money through whatever venture or avenue you go down, But tip number 4, be a giving person. Give, tithe regularly, religiously, consistently, because you will start seeing the law of giving and receiving, the spiritual principle working in effect. And you will see your money increasing. You will start seeing money coming to you from various places, and you'll just be surprised by this entire concept of giving and tithing. But you have to be giving consistently. If you give consistently, the universe will provide to you consistently. If you give sporadically, then your receiving will be sporadic as well. So that's something you have to take into account. But just apply these 4 principles and change your life. I promise you it will work. But other than that, that is the video for today. I will be back very soon, maybe this week in a couple of days with another video. Sorry, I've been stumbling over my words. I'm just really excited to share all this information with you guys. But yes, Thank you so much for tuning in. Give it a thumbs up if you like this video. If you guys have any tips yourself you want to share, or any other topic you would like me to discuss, leave a comment below or shoot me a message. Whatever works for you guys. I'll link my Instagram down below. You guys can reach me on my Instagram or my social media. But hit me up. Thank you so much, and take care.